right, YouTube. Good morning. It is April 27th. It is Tuesday, and I am out of Laredo finally. I got down to Laredo Friday morning around like 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. Dropped off. Almost immediately after, I was offered a load, picking up in Laredo, going to Alabama. I think like Montgomery or Birmingham. And I'm really not too fond of Alabama, but I told them I would take it, and they were bidding on it, and I guess they didn't get the bid because they never called me back. So I ended up sitting the weekend in hot-ass Laredo. I mean, it's hot down there. It's going to be 100 degrees almost all week. 95 to 100 degrees. I think maybe a day or two it might get a little bit cooler to like the low 90s, but it's still hot. And I think I've overstayed my welcome there. I was down there too longer than I would like. So I'm glad to finally be getting up out of there. I'm headed to Springfield, Missouri now. It's like 850 loaded miles. I didn't have to deadhead too far, like maybe like 5 miles or so to pick it up. It's going to be a little bit cooler there, like mid-80s, but I'm just glad to get out of Texas. But I tell you, man, this expediting world, it's a small world. Since I've been out on the road, for almost 2 months now, I've ran across so many people that watch my videos, and people that watched my expedited videos from the first time I was out, to those that are watching them from when I went out now, the second time. And, I like to thank everybody that, does watch, my videos. I had a talk with a couple people yesterday, at the TA in Laredo that watch my videos. And it's just amazing how the network is like so small when people recognize you. People recognize your voice. You mention where you're from, they be like, oh, that's where I know you're from. And then they start dissecting my videos, and it's amazing and it's humbling at the same time to know that what I'm saying is getting out there to people. I don't know everything when it comes to expediting, because I've only been out here, this is like my third time, twice with boat, and the first time I was with XPO. And I don't know everything, so I don't even try to act like I do. But a lot of this is common sense stuff. The more you're out here, the longer you're out here, sorry to say, the more mistakes you make, the more you learn. You learn not to make those mistakes again, et cetera, et cetera. Which leads me to the point of this video, okay? I want to talk about what helps me in Laredo, Texas, okay? What helps me get out, what helps me pass time, what mainly strategically what to do when you're sitting. Now, from my experience, from my carrier, which again, I drive for Boat Express, my experience is that once I get to Laredo, the only runs that I need to take out of Laredo is the runs that are going out of Texas. Now, why is that? In my experience, I found that a good chunk of loads outside of Laredo, now when I say good chunk, I'm not even saying a majority, but when I say a good chunk, that means a good percentage, a good amount of loads that are in Texas is going to send you back to Laredo. That is maybe how the cookie crumbles. That might be how things work. I don't know. But I found a lot of times that, let's say, you know, if you deadhead, because I know a person, let's say you deadhead to San Antonio, you know, or El Paso or Dallas. You get to this place, you know, or they say, hey, you know, I have a load offer for you, you know, because you deadheaded up to San Antonio or Dallas, but now it's going back to Laredo. Yeah, you made some money while you were in Texas, but because Laredo is a place where vans are so saturated, it's a competitive nature down here in Laredo, because you have all these different, you got your main companies, you know, Tri-State, you know, you have Panther, you have Bolt, you know, I don't see really XPO too much down here, but you got your big branded companies down here. Now I'm talking for Sprinter vans only and cargo vans. You know, you got your main companies, but then you got your privately owned ones. You know, your gypsy expediters, as I call them. You know, those that is willing to take 30 cents a mile just to deal out here. You know, you got those down here. So it's a competitive field down here when you get to Laredo, which is why sometimes Laredo, Texas, for us Sprinter van drivers, could be such a gamble, because you can come down here with a great load, but then you could be, you know, forever trying to get out, because you're competing with, you know, maybe 100 or so vans trying to get the same load, you know, trying to get out of there. So, you know, with that being said, if you come into Laredo and you're like I came into Laredo number 6, and I am getting a load when I was number 3. Now, if you come in at number 6 and you get tired of sitting, you decide, oh, okay, I'm going to move up to San Antonio or Dallas because I'll be number 1 there. And then you get there, and then they offer you a load back to Texas or back to Laredo, and you get back to Laredo and you're number 10 or 11 now. What did that really accomplish? Yeah, you made a couple $100, but now that might be your only load for the week because you decided to move, as compared to if you maybe stayed put or was a little bit more patient. You could have gotten that 13, 14, 1,500 mile load that would have took you out of Texas, way out of Texas. It would have paid you like $1,300, $1,400, you know. So patience is the key when you're down in Laredo. Me personally, I don't take no loads that's going to another part of Texas, because likely I would have to deadhead right back where I started, and I'm going to be in a worse position than I was before I deadheaded out or before I took that load. So go to Laredo with some type of exit strategy. You know, I don't really want to say an exit strategy, but go to Laredo with the open mind, because yeah, I got lucky so far and only had to sit like 2 days, but the first time I ever came to Laredo, I sat for 6. So be prepared for that, because you will spend money when you're down here. You know, there's no way that you cannot spend money. You gotta eat food. You know, you may have to wash clothes at some point. You may have to do this, that, or the third, and it's going to be spending money. And, you know, you have to be prepared for that. If you don't think you can handle possibly being in Laredo that long, while the thought of taking that 13, 14, 1,500 mile trip sounds good on paper, be prepared to be sitting, you know, be financially prepared, because if you aren't financially prepared, you're going to be stuck down there with no money, trying to figure out how to get by. It's going to make the move miserable. You're going to want to wish you never took the load. You know, but if you get down there and you see yourself sitting, especially over the weekend, go catch a movie. You know, I'm always going to the movies when I'm down here. Go to the movies, go out to eat. You know, always go to Golden Corral while I'm down here. You know, just find little things to do to keep you occupied, because when you sit down in Laredo, it's a different ball game. It is a different ball game. You're in a different environment with people that likely speaks a different language. You know, you just do what you have to do, but be smart about Laredo. If you're down here in Laredo, my advice, I don't deadhead out of Laredo. I don't deadhead out of Laredo just because a good chunk of loads is going to either bring you back to Laredo, or they're going to bring you to another part of Texas where you're going to have to go back to Laredo anyway to try to get a load. So that is my little 2 cents on the whole thing. You know, if you like the video, as always, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and you know, until next time, you know, take care. And again, to everybody that I met out on the road that watched my videos, I appreciate you, and stay tuned for the next one.